Yeah, okay, this game is calling me out. That's what this is. This game, let me... Hello my loves and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we are doing September's TBR, and this month I don't have any readathons I'm taking part in. In fact, there aren't many books I need to read for the month at all, which is great. I have one physical book that I'm going to try and fit onto the TBR, and that is for the themed weekly reading vlog that I'm doing, and I will be mentioning the Discord book club pick, but it's not actually going to be on this TBR officially because I'm reading it on Libby as an ebook, and that book is The Last Murder at the End of the World. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It's kind of like a sci-fi murder mystery dystopian thing. It sounds really interesting. I would have actually gone into this more detail in the September reset video if you want to check that one out. It would have come out before this, but that's it. And it feels so good to have that freedom to choose whatever the hell I want and not worry about any other prompts that I need to try and fit in for readathons. As much as I have enjoyed the readathons so much, it's also very freeing to have a TBR that I can definitely just be like, oh, I fancy this. As it stands, I don't actually know what I'm in the mood to read. I know I want to mix it up and make sure I have a good balance between cozy books as well as other books on my TBR, because I definitely prefer having that mix. Apart from that, guess we'll just see what we get. Which, speaking of what we're gonna get, let's talk about the TBR game for anyone that's new here. It's a really simple game. We just have a 6-coloured sided dice that I roll a minimum of 5 times. Each colour correlates to a little ghost. They are the most adorable things. So cute. That sits on top of a prompt. Very simple. We do, however, have that if the same colour comes up twice, we have to have an additional roll. I do cap that at 2 times, but that does mean we can have anywhere between 5 to 7 prompts to fulfill for the month. And I have also lately been letting myself double up one, meaning that one book can fulfill 2 prompts, but I'm only allowing myself to do this once. I'm not sure whether I'm going to need to use it. I think we'll just see how the TBR is feeling and decide whether I feel like I need to. That's it. So let's choose prompt, and we're gonna get to that first roll, but do let me know, what are you reading in the month of September? Are there any readathons that you're taking part in that I haven't heard of? Let me know all of that below. But for now, let's go for this one, and that is a book purchased in 2023. Whether that comes up in this game or not, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's go to roll number 1. The first roll for September. Ooh, yellow. A fantasy or sci-fi? Okay, let's have a look at my fantasy shelves. So these are the fantasy shelves, and we have a little bit of sci-fi there. So let's just have a little rummage. Now, if I was being smart, I could go for In the Labyrinth of Drakes by Maria Brennan. This is the 4th book in the Lady Trent series, and this is the book I'm going to be reading for the themed weekly reading vlog for the month. So that is definitely a strong contender. That would be the smart option. However, I would also not feeling any of those. Do want to do a reread of The Invisible Life of Adderley Root. I've been saying that for ages though, so we'll see. Over here I do have The Spear That Cuts Through Water that I would like to read before the end of the year. Also got on this shelf, oh, I do have The Monster Barrow Cormorant, which I would like to read. None of those. Or the sci-fi section of that, we could go with Nona the Ninth, because I've been wanting to read this book for a little while now. So I could do that. But the smart option is that one. And I should have read this one ages ago. I should have finished out this series ages ago. Alright, would be smart. Let's go for this one. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed with myself for being smart about this prompt. The fantasy or sci-fi prompt. Very impressed that I am actually going to be rather smart and go for the book that I need to read for the month. So that way it's done, it's out the way, and all the rest of the books that we get, just mood read galore. So I do have a themed weekly reading vlog that I'm doing in September, which is actually light academia, and I'm so excited about it because we have dark academia vlogs all the time. There are lots of dark academia books, but light academia is something that is kind of new, emerging, and I really want to read more of them. And this series, the Lady Trent memoir series, is such a good light academia series. In this series we are following Lady Trent, and she is writing her memoirs about her adventures. We're seeing her struggles because this is kind of set in like Edwardian times almost. Fantasy, obviously, but it gives you those same sensibilities of what it was like during those times for women and how they were meant to pursue womanly things. They were not meant to be interested in natural history because that is a man's pursuit. Lady Trent's a bit like, excuse me, no. I don't want that. I'm fascinated by dragons. I want to learn more about them. And she manages to go on an expedition in the first book as an artist drawing these dragons, because of course she can't be involved in the science of it, but you see her as she gets involved in the science of it. You see her in these different, each book follows a different area and a different set of dragons, and you do get some gorgeous illustrations in this book because she is an artist, and so she does depict different scenes that are happening, the different dragons that she comes across. I've loved this series. Like, it's one of my all-time favorite series. It is going to be a comfort reread series. However, I have done what normally ends up happening for a series that I adore, and that is not finishing it, because I just hoard it. If I love it, I hoard it and savor it. But the reality is I just need to finish this series, because once it's finished, I can go back and reread them, and I'm going to love rereading them. I wanted to read this one for this themed weekly reading vlog, and I've been meaning to read it for ages. So yes, I'm being smart, and we're going to be having this one on the TBR for the month, and I can't wait. Okay, so that's the first prompt done. Feeling very happy with that. Now we're going to choose another one, and then we'll do the second roll. Honestly, I have a good feeling about this TBR. I could be jinxing it for myself, but I have a good feeling. Oh, also, I always forget to mention this at the start of videos, but I always have one prompt that I let you choose. So I will have 2 books that fulfill that prompt, and I let you vote in the comments below, and whatever one gets the most votes is the one I read for the month. So that will be happening at some point in this. But okay, let's go at the back this time. Let's go here. Okay, something I definitely don't need to be doing, which is reading the first book in a series, because I've started so many series. If you've seen my series video, you would know I am in the middle of far too many. If this prompt comes up, we will do as the game dictates. Roll number 2. Ooh, purple. Oh no, I don't want this prompt. That's oldest book on my TBR. Prompt I always dread, and that is the oldest book on my TBR. So for this, we have my old reading journal. This one is from 2021. Yeah, so 3 years ago. And I have been ticking off when I've read all the books that I've purchased in that month. I think I was smart and folded, yes I did, folded the page of where we're up to in the year. August 2021, I still have 2 books on my TBR that I've not read. And the 2 books from August are, okay, let me go get them. We have Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel and How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. Both of these I got 3 years ago, and yeah, I've not read them. I mean, to be fair, can you blame me with Wolf Hall? Look at the size of this thing. It's a historical fiction book, one that I am intrigued by because it's done during the reign of Henry VIII, so the Tudor time period, and we're seeing it from, I think it was Tom, his name was? Yes, Thomas Cromwell. His story from when he was very young to when he grows up. Now I have actually started this book. I have my bookmark in here because I was doing a buddy read with Chris, and I was terrible with my buddy read because I only read the first 26 pages. She actually pushed through and read this whole book and said it wasn't worth it. But I have heard other people absolutely love this book. So that is one of the options. And then the other option is How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. This is one that my sisters read and thought was quite fun and entertaining. And this one is just about a woman that's currently in prison, and she has this plan, and it is to kill a family, make a claim on their fortune, get away with the above, and adopt a dog. We're following Grace. So yeah, that's what that is about. I could get you to vote, however, I'm kind of terrified that if you voted that Wolf Hall would win, and I just don't think I'm in the mindset to read this book. So I think I'm just gonna go procrastinate on that a little bit longer until that prompt comes up again, and we're just going to go with How to Kill Your Family, a book that I've been meaning to read for the last 3 years. It's been on several TBRs, I've just never got round to, but it's shorter, it's going to be more fun and entertaining, and I feel like that'll be good for my mood because I do find that I do like a slightly ridiculous book every so often, so I feel like it will fulfill that. And come on, this cover is gorgeous. So yeah, I think we're going to go with this one. Hopefully it's a good one. I have heard mixed things about it, but my sister liked it, so hopefully I will like it too. What is this belt doing? It's constantly going up. There we are. That is the second pick. Not what I would have wanted for the month, but it is about time I read it. So maybe we could even make that not the first read of the month because I'm on holiday, but maybe like, okay, at some point in the month of September it's going to get read. That's why it's on the TBR. Let's not try and plan that, okay? Let's just be grateful for the fact that I'm not making myself read Wolf Hall. I'm sure it's amazing. I know lots of people love it and I'm sure it's amazing. I just don't want to right now. Okay, well, with that horrible prompt out the way, let's choose another one. I mean, do let me know. If you've read it and you did like it, then let me know, but I think I've really got to be in the mood for historical fiction, especially a chunky historical fiction, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon. But right, okay, let's go this one. A contemporary. Very simple, nice and fun. Let's see what we actually get for roll number 3. Okay, the third roll. Let's see. Oh, pink. Okay. A book purchased in 2023. I feel like this month the game is really calling me out on my TBR backlist. So we have read a book in 2023 that I purchased in 2023. So once again, in this reading journal, at the very back, I actually have a written list of all the books that I bought in the year that I've bought them in. So if we go to 2023, which is starting here, I think what I'm going to do is pick out 2 from this list and then get you to vote between them. So we have lots of different things. We've got some classics, not really feeling a classic. We have a sci-fi horror, could be interesting. We've got some manga, more classics. I've got to stop buying classics. I don't read them anywhere near as much as I've been buying them, so definitely need to stop doing that. Maybe like half my classic TBR and then I can start purchasing more, but they're just so easy to get hold of and they're so pretty. Right, okay, let me actually pause you for a minute, have a look at this list and get back to you. Okay, that took me longer than I care to admit, but I have settled on 2. So we have Love Will Tear Us Apart by C.K. McDonald. This is the 3rd book in the Stranger Times series. This is a really fun paranormal murder mystery series. They're starting off with the 1st book where we're following a few different main characters and they all work at the Stranger Times, which is a newspaper company that reports on everything strange and paranormal and what if they're actually true. And the first 2 books have just been really fun, silly things. So each book has a different mystery to solve with an overarching plot line. And yeah, I've had this one since last year, been meaning to read it for a little while now. And there is a 4th book out now as well. So I definitely need to get on and continue this series. I think it's just going to be really fun. They are very entertaining, highly funny, ridiculous books. And of course you have the paranormal elements. This one I think involves, what does it involve? It seems like this one is going to be involving floating statues, hijacked ghosts, homicidal cherubs, irate starlings, a reliant robin, and quite possibly several deeply sinister conspiracies into the mix, and all of that is just a normal, typical week for the staff at the Stranger Times. Honestly, it is a really fun time and I love these covers. Within this, there is also smaller imagery, which is not focusing on the book. And all of that is linking to what actually happens within the book. So yeah, I'm looking forward to actually reading this one. So that's one option. And then the other option, just for like a bit of a mood shift in the TBR, we have They Drown Our Daughters by Katarina Monroe. This one I got, I think it was it September-ish last year? Might have been. It was part of the BookTuber meetup that we did in London, and this one is a more gothic horror-leaning book that is part modern gothic, part ghost story. We're exploring family ties and this very weird little town, I think it is. Yeah, so they say Cape Disappointment is haunted. That's why tourists used to flock there in droves. Now the tourists are long gone, and when Meredith and her young daughter return to Meredith's childhood home after a split with her wife, it seems that the Cape is more haunted by regret than malevolent. Her mum is suffering with the early stages of Alzheimer's and is convinced that the ghost stories are real, and it's going to go from there. I think it'll be quite an interesting one. It's not one I've ever heard anyone talking about. So yeah, let me know. Should I go for more of a horror story or should we go fun paranormal murder mystery? I'm intrigued by both. I need to continue on this series, but this has also been sitting on my TBR for ages, so I should get it read. So yeah, just vote in the comments below which one you think I should be reading in the month of September. Okay, that took far too long to do, so let's just choose another prompt and move swiftly on to number 4. Gonna quick shuffle up. They are falling everywhere. This is not going well. This is what you get for rushing. Okay, let's go. You know what? Let's just go this one at the front. A previous TBR book. Yeah, okay, this game is calling me out. That's what this is. This game let me have one good roll that goes, yeah, you know what, read the book you're meant to read for the month and now focus on all your previous backlist, because we have to read a book that's been on a previous TBR. So that means I have to look through my previous TBRs and see the book that I haven't read from them and choose out of that. Let's hope that doesn't come up. Come on, game, be nice to me. Send me the positive energy. I'm gonna need it. I don't need any more calling out, okay? I have a big backlist TBR. It's fine. Apparently we have to work on it, but you know what? The fourth roll could be something completely different. So let's go stop procrastinating and find out what that fourth roll was going to be. Roll number 4. Yellow. Okay, that's the first additional roll. So we have read the first in a series. Now we need to choose another prompt. Let's go with this one. And we have an additional roll to do. Purple. Oh, okay, so purple is a contemporary, and that is another additional roll. So we're gonna shuffle up again. Going for this one. Oh, that's nice. Under 250 pages. And then the last roll for roll number 4, orange. Oh, this roll hates me. Oh my god. Over 500 pages. What a roll. Well, I've decided to tackle the contemporary prompt first because that's the easiest, because my contemporary is this. This is all I have really. It's like a mixture of romance and contemporary, and I don't have many that I haven't read. So I could do a reread of Normal People because I did love this book, but I'm not really feeling it. So why did I mention it? I don't know. Basically, I actually think it's between these two because this is a contemporary book that I got given by the publisher. This is a contemporary romance that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's the newest book out in the Magnolia Park series. This one is historical fiction, so that doesn't work. That I've read. And this one is for a video that I'm doing in November. So contemporary is between those two. And I'm thinking I could double up on the prompt of over 500 pages with this, maybe. Let's have a look. Okay, that took ages because it was not focusing, but that's over 600 pages and we're not even at the end of the book. So I could definitely double up. I may do that. We're going to have a look at the first book in a series, see if that works for any double ups, and then just in case, because I feel like there is one book that fits over 500 pages that I've been wanting to read, is Nona the Ninth. I would really like to read Nona the Ninth. So I think I'm going to check if that's over 500 pages. If it is, then I may change Magnolia Park and then also have a look at what's the first in a series. And yeah, okay. All right. Give me, I would say 5, but this is probably going to take me way longer. It's going to be seconds for you. I will be back. Roll number 4 was chaotic. I started talking about it, hadn't even pressed record, and I feel like that just sums up what happened in this game. It was a nightmare. Okay, so we had 3 prompts. 3 prompts I didn't actually want. They're not the 3. Those are the 3. So we have over 500 pages, a contemporary, and read the first in a series. All 3 of those I didn't want. 1, I don't want to be reading a book over 500 pages. 2, I don't want to be starting a brand new series. And 3, contemporaries aren't really my thing. However, between the 2 contemporaries, I have decided to go with Magnolia Park's Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. Contemporary romance, one of the very few contemporary romances I actually want to own physically. It's just a messy car crash of a time. This is the 5th book in a series, and the way it works with this series is odd numbers follow Magnolia Park, even numbers follow Daisy Hates. The books take place at the exact same time as one another. You're just getting it from different character perspectives, and it is the most toxic, unhealthy relationships that you're ever going to see. But I also loved it. I really enjoyed those first 4 books, and I was desperate to know what happened. Oh my god, the cliffhanger ended, and it was heartbreaking. So I really do want to actually read this one, and I could be smart and double up with 500 pages, which I might still do. Then I started looking at the other book that I said may have more than 500 pages, which is Nona the Ninth, which technically my edition does if we include glossary at the back. So if we include, oh, hang on. This is scene 4. Oh no. Okay. All right. Technically it doesn't, unless of course we include a original story from the Locked Tomb universe. But the actual story of this is actually only 477 pages. I don't know if I can count that, because if we take out the acknowledgements and that, it still doesn't quite hit the 500. Damn it. Okay, well that doesn't actually check. I clearly didn't check what I was doing properly. But that also would have been one that I was tempted to be like, yeah, I want to put on my TBR. However, because of the book I've chosen for first book in a series, which I've actually gone with a reread, so I'm not starting a new series, and this is one I need to reread before I continue with the next book. It's been such a long time since I've read this, and that is Master of Sorrows by Justin Call, and I did like this one. I don't think it was anything fantastic when I first read it, but I think I will appreciate it more on a reread, and I'm really intrigued to see where it goes, because in this we're following the villain's origin story, which sounds really good, and I would like to get the second book read. And I'm not sure when the third book's coming out, but I would like to do that. And this is one that I've been thinking about I would like to reread this year. This is what I'm going for reread. This is also over 500 pages because it stands at 576 pages. So that also works. So maybe it's actually a blessing in disguise that this one's technically just under 500 pages, because adding all of that is probably a bit too much. And as much as I said that I didn't have anything set I wanted to read for the month, I did kind of have in mind one other book, which was Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. And this one, let me check actually, because I never checked if this was over 500 pages. It's not, it's only 446. But I was thinking about taking this one on holiday with me because it's like a summertime horror book. But no, we're gonna stick with these instead. Okay, because that doesn't count. Okay, so I am doubling up, and I can double up with either of the prompts because they're both over 500 pages, which I think makes up for doubling up on a prompt on a month where I don't actually have anything I need to read. We're gonna go with contemporary and over 500 pages with Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, and then a reread that's the first in a series that's also over 500 pages with Master of Sorrows. This one is kind of like your classic fantasy. We're following our main character who's growing up in this world where disability is seen as a sign of the devil, and he himself is disabled, but he has help with this kind of like magician friend who is able to cover up the fact that he has a disability, and he wants to get a place within this guild. Trials in here is a book I've been thinking about a lot. I feel like when I first read it I thought, oh okay, you're okay, I would definitely continue with the series, but you're not like a new favorite fantasy. But I have been thinking about this one quite a lot, and I like the fact that we did have a lot of disability rep in here. We had the questioning against the society with our main character, seeing that conflict within them and pushing out against these things, and that's why he's going to become the villain. I think you're not a villain for doing that. You're a villain because these people that you've grown up with your whole life is marking you as a villain for going against their decree, but that doesn't make you a villain because morally you are 100% right and they're the wrong ones. So I like that because of it. So yeah, so two very different books, both over 500 pages. This one is going to be a really quick read though because it's contemporary and it's really not going to take me long. This one, it's going to take me a little bit longer, but it's also a reread, and I find rereads pretty easy to read. So yeah, okay, we're just adding a casual like 12,000 pages onto the TBR, but that's fine. At least we literally only have one more roll because we've done all the additional rolls. Chaos. Utter carnage. So I guess we're gonna see what we get, and hopefully it's a nice prompt. This game is not turning out anywhere near how I thought it was. I mean, considering I didn't have a set idea, I guess that makes sense, but okay, let's go for that one. A thriller book. The final roll. Let's go. The final roll for September. Oh, let me move this out of the way. I don't want it to... Okay, green. Okay. Thrifted. I know what I want for this. I know what I want for Thrifted, so that's good. At least we ended on an okay note. It's actually a book I was going to be putting on my August TBR and then decided to go with something else, and that is A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Hawley. This is a fun, cute, cozy fantasy romance, and we're following a witch and a demon. I think it's going to be really fun. We're following Caladea, who knows that she's rough around the edges and hot-tempered, and she breaks up this fight, and actually she's really annoyed about it because the person involved is a demon, a very highly legendary member of the Demon High Council, Astaroth. But he has been banished from this council and stripped of his immortality, been sent to the mortal plane, and he's like, oh crap, what's going on? Because he has amnesia from everything that's happened, and now he has no idea why this angry, hot in a terrifying way witch hates him so much. But Caladea grudgingly agrees to help Astaroth find the witch who might be able to restore his memory, vowing that once Astaroth is cured, she'll kick his ass. And yet, of course, it's a romance, so it's not going to end up that way. I think it'll be really fun and cozy, and it'll be something nice and light to mix up the rest of this chaos. So I guess we're just gonna go through it. Do I know what I'm gonna be taking on holiday now? Not the foggiest. Honestly, I had things very differently planned for the holiday. We will see what I end up bringing. But okay, let's just go through this TBR for September that ended up being so much more chaotic than what I thought it was going to be. So we have, for Thrifted, A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, a nice cozy fantasy romance. We then have a book that's doubling up for 2 prompts. That is a contemporary and over 500 pages. And this is a contemporary romance, the 5th book in a series, which is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. And honestly, I think this is going to be a really messy, entertaining time, and I don't think it's going to take me long to read because of that. Like, the writing style is not even good. Let's face it, it's just not. But there's something about it that I just eat up, and I don't even know why. For the first in a series, we're going with a reread, which is Master of Sorrows, and this is a fantasy villain's origin story in a very corrupt world, but I'm very intrigued to give this one a reread because honestly I'm hazy on so many of the details of this one, so I do think it's going to be a good one to reread. For the oldest book on my TBR, I'm going with How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. This should be, again, another entertaining, chaotic car mess of a time. That's always a fun time. I mean, they're easy reads. That's the good thing about them, is they're reads that I just fly through because I don't have to focus too much on them. They're entertaining, so it makes them very quick reads, I find. And then we also have, for fantasy or sci-fi, the only smart choice I made for this TBR, which is In the Labyrinth of Drakes, a memoir of Lady Trent, the 4th book in the Lady Trent series, and this is for the Light Academia reading vlog I'm going to be doing. So that is those. On top of this though, you do of course have the 2 books for you to choose between for the month, and this prompt was for a book that I purchased in 2023. So we have 2 different options. The first one is a more horror leaning book, that is They Drown Our Daughters, and the second one is a funny paranormal cozy murder mystery, the 3rd book in a series, Love Will Tear Us Apart. So please let me know between those 2 which one I should be reading for the month, and that is our TBR. So obviously we minus 1 book off this, which isn't too bad, but it's a lot of pages. So we'll see, and I still don't know what book I want to take on holiday. I might end up doing 1 book off this TBR and then 1 of the other books I was talking about, which will either be Nona or Lost in the Garden. However, personally, I feel like if I don't take Lost in the Garden with me, I'm not going to read this till summer next year because it is set in summer, so it would be really good. And Nona the Nymph, I know I'm going to be reading before the end of the year. As long as I read it this year, I'm not too worried. Like, I want to read it ASAP, but also it's not one that I feel like seasonally I have to read in a certain season, which I do sometimes get with books, and this is one of them. I may end up adding this to bring with me, maybe more, we'll see. I'm only away for 7 nights, so I'm really not going to read the amount I think I'm going to read, but I might still do it. We could get really lucky. That is the TBR for September. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of September. As I've already said, make sure you vote between the books for me to read for the month. That's it. That brings us to the end. I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. Genuinely, I truly mean it. I know I say it at the end of every video. I know I say it multiple times at the end of every video, but I do genuinely mean it. I love the fact that you want to take the time to watch these videos, hear me ramble about books, and it just genuinely means so much to me, so thank you. If you have made it to the end of this video, let's put a car. So the amount of times I've said this book is a car crash of a book, I feel like it's valid. So if you've made it this far, you just don't know what to comment, leave a little car emoji in the comments below, and I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.